In Russia-Ukraine war, a development has taken place that President Trump's meeting with Putin has been shelved for now. And let me analyze as to what are the implications. We all know that perhaps US-led NATO has realized that it is not possible to evict Russia from Ukraine despite all the bravado which the information warfare of the West was posing as Ukraine being a winner and trying to win back all the territory. So despite all that, I think people have realized, and Europeans also perhaps have now conceded to an idea of President Trump to say that freeze those lines and start talking and start the negotiations. As far as Russia is concerned, they may be perhaps amenable to take Donbass. Certainly, they will not do ceasefire without taking Donbass, whether it is by force or by negotiation. And perhaps they may be amenable to give out some territory in Kherson and Zaporizhia, the territory which is on the Ukrainian side of Dnieper River, to make sure that they have a viable defense line and a so-called buffer zone for times to come. As far as Europeans are concerned, they seem to be seeking expansion of war again and again and overhyping the threat of Russia. In my opinion, I don't think Russia either has the intention or the residual capacity to start a fight with NATO. Because firstly, that is too risky, and secondly, even from the NATO's point of view, it will certainly invite a nuclear intervention, and if Russia feels that there is an existential threat, which is quite obvious, because the collective capacity of NATO and USA will certainly pose an existential threat, depending upon the residual capability of Russia. So in that case, I don't think NATO has calculated in their wargaming as to how they are going to manage in case there is a tactical nuclear strike on Kyiv or any of the partners of Kyiv who is trying to help them out by military hardware or some long-range missiles. The idea of these long-range missiles also, I think, is far-fetched one, and rightly so. Perhaps President Trump has not conceded to it so far, for the simple reason, because firstly it will not change anything very much on ground, because standoff attacks don't win territory, number one. And number two, the most important thing is, which I think everybody must realize, that no president of America will ever risk Washington stroke New York to save Ukraine. And Russia, like it or not, has that capability that it can strike both. So I think that's too risky an issue in case that escalation takes place. As far as the other side is concerned, so far Russia is fighting along with North Korea alone with 30 plus countries, along with the help of United States. But in case the USA's tariff war becomes too aggressive on China, and China starts giving military hardware to Russia and starts supporting a little more than what it is doing now, then I think it will be a major problem for NATO, which I don't think Pentagon has worked out, and they have not worked out the escalation dynamics in that context. I must also say that although now 3 years have passed, and in these 3 years, I think there must be a realization that if Ukraine had remained neutral, there would have been no war. And after so much of destruction, Ukraine still will not be part of NATO as an end state. And I'm sure history will ask some tough questions from Zelensky, maybe Joe Biden, as well as Boris Johnson, as to why they did let it happen and they escalated, and for what. Because if it was a talk of sovereignty, it doesn't exist, because Zelensky is doing everything what Europeans and Americans are telling him, so there is no sovereignty, there is no territorial integrity left. And as far as democracy is concerned, I think Ukraine is already under martial law for almost over 3 years now. So I think there was a serious mistake which has been done by proponents of expansionist designs and knocking the door of Russia, whoever has done it so far. As far as Russia is concerned, yes, they have also invaded Ukraine, which perhaps could have been avoided, maybe with some more negotiations. But then, with the kind of threat which was being posed, maybe Putin thought that a preemptive strike was better. I think history will tell us as to who was right and who was wrong and how it ends up. But in my opinion, it will end up with some loss of territory of Ukraine, certainly, and Russia will not give up Donbass after losing so many men and casualties in terms of men and equipment, both. Thank you.